had such a great day, but more than that, I just felt like I saw so much gentleness in everyone around me. Um, I woke up really early to go get my nails done, and the day before, I had looked into making an appointment at this place that's near me that I've never been to before, and all of these slots were free like in the morning, so I was like, okay, I can probably just walk in. So I went, and it was like busy, like everyone was really busy. So but I walked in and I was like, hey, do you have like any slots available for today for a manicure? And she was really really nice. But she was like gonna say no, but then like one of the technicians was like, yes, I can like take her right now, which was just ideal. That's what I wanted. I wanted it to be done then. So I went and I was waiting and like picking out a color, and the girl I spoke to, her reception, came over and she was like, hey, if I know you haven't like been here before, so I just wanted to explain the process to you. It's like a Russian manicure, it's a little bit different. And then I asked questions, and she was like, she didn't do that thing where like they make you feel bad, where you like don't know about manicures or something. And I asked like if it was different than a regular manicure, and she kind of explained, and she showed her own nails, and she was just really like nice and friendly, like genuinely friendly, which was really nice. And then the woman who did my nails was also really sweet, and she kept checking in like at different times through the process, and she was like, are you okay? um, like just over and over, which normally I don't really like it, but she did it very gently and sweetly, and it was really nice. And she was like, do you like it so far? And I was like, yeah. And I liked the whole thing. Obviously I really liked them. And also they were just like really happy and silly and laughing with each other, and like it was a really nice community. And like when regulars would walk in, or maybe it's not even regulars, but like they would speak the same language, so they would be like hi, and then all the people in the store would go like salam, which is so nice. It's just like a really nice feeling. Yeah, it was really fun. And then after I left, I was going to see my family in Mississauga, so I took an Uber because I didn't have enough time to take the bus to the Go bus and also eat a hot dog, and I really wanted to eat a hot dog. So I was like, I'll just Uber to the hot dog, have a hot dog, and then I'll go to the on the Go bus. So I take an Uber, and I'm in the Uber, and the driver was just like so nice. Wait, before I went in the Uber, I came home. I walked home, and I saw my landlady, and she was really nice. I had a really really lovely chat with her outside. Um, just really nice talking to her. And then I went in the Uber, and normally I don't love talking in Ubers, and I like put my headphones in. But I didn't, and he was like, where are you from? But there was just this vibe about him where I didn't get annoyed at that question. Normally I do, and normally I just go like I was born here. But with him, I was like, I'm from Pakistan. He was like, this is so interesting, because he just seemed really authentic. Like it was like he was making normal conversation and not trying to force it or something. So I talked to him, and he asked really fun and interesting questions that I wanted to answer, and then he talked to me, and I was so interested, and I had a really amazing chat with him. Like it almost felt like I was talking to a friend or something. It was very 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 nice. And he was like, I love driving, that's why I do this. And like he talked about everything else he does outside of Uber, and he asked me questions about my line of work, and he asked interesting questions and stuff. And then I was like approaching where he was going to drop me off, and I realized that I might not have time to like walk to the Go place. So I was like, oops, is it too late for me to change the destination on the app? And he was like, you don't even have to use the app, just tell me where I can drop you. And I was like, oh, like at the Finch Go station, please, and I can tell you where to turn." And he goes like, "Okay." So, yeah, and he goes, "Yeah, I know exactly where that is." But then he pauses, and then he goes, "Actually, earlier than that, we were talking, and he was like, I don't know, like I like gave him some information. I don't know. I mentioned that I was gonna take a go bus to Mississauga because that's where my family is." And he was like, "Oh, because he asked, you live in Yonge and you also work on Yonge?" Because he was assuming that I was going to work because it was like early morning, midday, midweek, or whatever. And then I was like, "No, I'm going to Mississauga, so I'm gonna go to the GO station." And then he pauses and he goes, aren't there GO stops closer to you?" And I was like, "Yes, but I wanted to actually eat something before I get on the GO bus." And he was like, okay, no problem. Again, it felt like a very casual. Normally, I mean, if you know me, normally I like do not divulge any information, especially to strangers, and I'm like almost offended if they even ask. I'm like, "Why do you want to know? Who are you?" I didn't feel like that. Maybe I'm changing. Maybe I'm just like a new person. I don't know. Um, anyway, I said that, and then at the very end, like we're almost there, and I'm like, is it too late for me to ask you to drop me somewhere just a little bit further?" And he was like, "Okay, no, I know where the GO station is." And then he pauses and he goes, "Wait, does that mean you're not gonna eat anything?" And that just like, it just like touched my heart because he cared about me eating. I know he didn't actually care, but it's just like he said it so earnestly. And then I started laughing and I was like, "No, I'm actually gonna go to I'm gonna get a hot dog from the hot dog stand there at Finch Station." I was originally gonna get it from a different place. And he was like, "There's a hot dog stand there?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, it's been there a long time." And he was like, "Oh, okay." And then he turned in and he was like, "Oh yes, I see it." And then he was like, first of all, he didn't even charge me like extra or anything because I didn't change the destination in the app. He just dropped me, and then he was like, "Is this side of the street okay? Should I turn the car around?" And he was just unbelievable, so good. I loved that experience. It was just so genuine and authentic. Again, so many experiences just in a row, like stars aligning, right? And then I go to the hot dog stand. This is the fourth interaction of the day. Go to the hot dog stand and I'm like, "Hey, do you take credit cards?" And she was like, "No, we only take cash and debit." And I was like, "Shoot." And then I was like, "What if I transfer you?" She was like, "No." And she started laughing. And I was like, "Okay, that's okay." And I'm like walking slowly to the bench, and I'm like, I'm so sad I should have gone to the other hot dog stand that I originally wanted to go to. Because I guess I had time or something. And I was like, I wish I had cash. And I was like, why don't I just check if I have it? It's a bag that like I hadn't used in a while. And like I didn't think I had cash in it because I didn't bring my wallet. I just brought my credit card in my pocket. And I opened my bag and I had so much cash. I could get like 8 hot dogs. So I was so happy. So then I walked back to the hot dog stand and I was like, "Hi." And she looked up and she was so happy. She was like, "Hi, you're back?" And I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Yeah, I found cash." And she was just really happy that I was back. And she was asking me questions about what I want and stuff. That's normal, but it was just like the authenticity of the experience. And then also, I really loved that next to me, there's this man and he was like talking very earnestly to a homeless man, to a guy who was homeless, and they were having like a really friendly, like a normal chat, and I love that. I love seeing it. I love living in a society that encourages that. I mean, I don't know if society encourages it, but I really enjoyed that. Um, that was really nice. And then I had my hot dog, amazing, and then I got on the bus, and then um, the driver, we like, he like spoke to like all the people who came on, like if they had questions, he spoke to them. He spent so much time answering questions, which I really love. Like he even like later at a different stop, not even at the beginning, we were in the middle of the journey and he like stopped and some guy was gonna get on, but then he was like, no, I'll take a different bus. And he like, the driver was like, he called him back in and he was like, where are you going? I can help you. Which is like he was really trying, which I really love. And then at the very end, when the station that I got off, the very end of the journey, there were two people that the driver they had asked questions to the driver, and the driver got out of the bus with them, and then he like stood with them trying to help them figure out where they're going. So nice. That's so nice. That's the fifth interaction. um Let me think about it. Well, there were more things. I saw my family. It was a great day. Is there more things? These are all stranger interactions, so they were really nice. We went to a place at the end of the day, dessert place, and the guy there was really nice. All of it was just really gentle and sweet and soft and loving day. It just kind of felt like I was like, you know what it felt like? It felt like I was part of the world. It felt like I was part of society and I didn't feel alien in it or something, or like I was myself and I was accepted for it. Not even in a huge way, just more like I didn't force myself and they didn't force themselves, and there was none of like, there's very little performance there, which is really very nice. And because it was like one after the other right away, just wow, it just felt like a really wonderful day. um yeah, it felt like I was part of the world, and it felt like I was welcomed out of my apartment. It was like I was surrounded by people who know me. So nice. Okay. I'm so sleepy. I love you.